Hello, Reject Nation. We are going to watch the official trailer for The Matrix Rebooted, aka The Matrix Resurrections. Koi Jandreau. That's how you say it. John Jordan!
Get closer every time. Get closer every time. Not right there.
Forget everything you know. It's Jandreau.
Perfect run.
Koi is with us today. Woke up at 4:30 in the morning to drive all the way over here. Thank you for being here. Please follow this man on his YouTube channel. Not only is he a big fan of comics, like you can tell just from his segments with comic book shopping, where he had Yahya Abdul-Mateen II on there as well.
We mentioned The Matrix before we were supposed to.
Wow. Follow him on YouTube. He's almost at 10K followers. And then last time he was over, we talked heavily about The Matrix. And apparently, like myself, it is one of his favorite movies of all time too.
Ever. There is no spoon.
And we got Trinity here with us today. I am so excited. You have no idea. You have no clue how excited I am. I'm ready to absorb this trailer. Let's get into it, people. Please, as always, if you can go and hit that like button, it helps us out on the algorithm significantly. But yeah, let's watch this. Let's watch this. Hey guys, so the music in here actually got us a copyright claim, obviously. Had to remove it. But still, watch the reaction, and we talked for so long afterwards. We got plenty of thoughts on this, so I really hope you just stick around.
Thomas, you seem particularly triggered right now. Can you
Deja
tell me what
vu.
happened?
I've had dreams that weren't just dreams.
Wow. Am I crazy? We don't use that word in here.
The wallpaper in the background, everything.
The colors are so saturated too.
Hi.
Have we met?
Whoa. Blue pill.
3 blue pills.
Fascinating.
Oh wow.
Is it literally reading Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
Tumbling. What the hell? It's like an old guy.
Yeah.
Take that red pill, man. Remember.
If you want the truth from you,
Follow the white rabbit.
you're going to have to follow me.
Oh.
Gotta meet the architect.
The only thing that matters to you is still here. I know it's why you're still fighting and why you will never give up.
Oh.
You don't know me. No?
There we go. There we go.
Dang. Wow.
Damn. Damn agents.
Dude.
Oh.
What the hell? Oh, oh, what was going on there?
Oh. Wow.
Yo, he looked like an agent.
Oh.
Stopping the bullets. Whoa!
After all these years, to be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
Oh.
That's so meta. So meta. Hell yeah.
Dude, hearing that sound again, hearing that with
Yes.
new visuals.
Oh, man.
That was better than I hoped.
That was great.
That was more than I hoped.
All right, so we watched this again just now. I mean, first off, I'm loving the fact of how different it looks. They don't have the same returning cinematographer. It's only Lana Wachowski returning this time around. So naturally, there's going to be some things about it aesthetically, production design-wise, that are going to look and feel a little bit different. I'm enjoying the plot, the way it seems to be unveiling itself. From the looks of it, it seems like Neo or Thomas Anderson this time around again. The blue pill is literally a form of repressing his memory. That's what it seems to be honing in on. Like, he's got his therapist. I feel like that's something maybe the machines or whatever have set up for him to repress his memories of it. And it seems like a lot of what we're seeing in the trailer, especially with saying he's having dreams, are like memories of the first 3 Matrix films. And he's being forced to push that aside. So it looks like to me that the Matrix itself has actually been, obviously it's been rebooted. At one point you did see a shot of what looked like Trinity back in that like birthing human tube. So I don't really know. Maybe they've I could theorize forever about this. We could be here for an hour. I'm trying to summarize this without overtaking the entire conversation here. I would imagine that they have somehow either duplicated their bodies, since the machines do grow the human bodies as established in the first Matrix movie, or somehow they have managed to preserve their bodies from the previous Matrix movie. I would say like maybe that's the case for Neo and they kept the program alive within him. Yeah, Coy, what do you think's going on with Yahya Abdul-Mateen?
So
Is he young Morpheus? He's probably young Morpheus.
They want us to think he's young Morpheus. They gave us every bit of Morpheus we could possibly Morpheus, but I think it's a mislead. I think Yahya is meant to be like the guy is the most Morpheus vibes one could have. Sure, Larry Fishburne himself. But there are some interesting moments in the trailer where I think he might be working in duplicitous, working for the Matrix as a Morpheus type. What if he's the Matrix's Morpheus? What if he's meant to make us think he's someone to trust? The red pill actually puts him deeper into the Matrix. What if we have all these prior connotations what the Matrix is? What if he actually breaks our reality further by putting him doing a deeper like software level? Because I think the whole idea of the Matrix works today because we've all become the architect. Like when the internet was born, we created constructs that are individual characters, avatars. So in reality, post 1999 when the first Matrix came out, we've become our own architects of creating these characters. So if the Matrix is going to be as timely as it was in 1999, they're going to have to update it to the internet world, which is all of these new birthing concepts, which I think include Yahya.
Okay. John, say something.
I just was really dazzled by this trailer. I loved a lot of the color choices. It looks like The Matrix, but also very much updated and more lush in terms of just its color palettes. You had a lot of very symbolic uses of blue, which is why, like, yeah, the therapist, it totally tracks that he would be probably an agent of the Matrix, keeping Neo repressed and suppressed, because look at those blue glasses frames. Then again, I'm like, that girl has blue hair, though, with the white rabbit. So what's the significance, and how are they going to use the pills, because those are even on the poster, so I wonder if they're going to play with that motif directly. But it just took me by a great amount of surprise in terms of it doesn't look like we're just picking up where the last one left off and throwing a bunch of familiar Matrix tropes at you. Like, there are those things in here. This looks like its own movie and a fresh, iteration of the Matrix, which was the most exciting aspect.
Well, I mean, it was something that it seems... I'm sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Did you guys also notice the seemingly young Yahya as Morpheus shot where it looks like he's looking into the mirror?
Yes.
What if that was them corrupting young Morpheus so that when Neo meets him, he assumes to trust him, but like we've got a past tense, maybe a early beta version of Morpheus that would be inherently trusted by Neo, but is actually under control of them, because he looked as confused as we were.
I think you're onto something there, because there was this one shot in the trailer where it looked like when Neo was looking in the mirror, there was like an old version of himself.
There's a time element here.
So I imagine, like, okay, because as we know, the world of the Matrix is different than the real world, like Zion and such. I'm wondering if
residual self-image, because he looks like a younger...
Like, if he could be perhaps a younger Morpheus just within the program, and then the Lawrence Fishburne outside could be, really old or something.
Did we ever see the birthing moment of Trinity in the original?
No, we did not.
So that could be an element that's actually from the past, because we don't know what the chronology is there. That could be a shot of her in the first film chronologically being birthed. That is a mislead here for the trailer, and they're all actually older. We've got Larry Fishburne actually as Morpheus outside, etc.
Well, what I'm liking that we're seeing with the trailer itself, it seems to be playing a lot more into just actual psychology. Like, it's a lot of it's very much, like on the nose about it. He's literally in therapy right here. But in the way how a lot of the visuals are being recreated, it is like trauma. It seems like Neo's past with the previous Matrix films are serving as a form of trauma for the guy. He seems very lonely and isolated and haunted by all these things, and it's sort of being treated like PTSD, what he's suffering from, having to take medication for all that, but literally like the way how in real life, when we're traumatized, we recreate. So it looks like that this is working on many levels. Neo's resurrection, literally an actual reboot that will be a little self-aware about that, recreation, the way how trauma works, but looks like he's coming into his own element again, will becoming, you know, the one once again. But you see these shots of Trinity in here, and she was doing like some very like powers we've never seen Trinity do before. So I imagine she'll be some other type of, I don't know, enhanced anomaly of sorts. Yeah.
Remember in the third film when there was that rebirth? I
Right.
imagine that would change someone's programming. So if she
Yes.
was reborn in Zion, in our world, I imagine that would change how she's reinducted into the Matrix itself. And if this is in order of chronology in that scene, her in the fourth film, just like Neo, would have had to evolve to be back
Right.
in the Matrix. So I think she might have an awakening of her own, a la Thomas Anderson in the first film, and that like cause a new array of powers. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, she's whatever that power is, and then they're like they're jumping off of the roof together at the end. I'm like, is Neo going to take her flying? Or
I think they're going to fly together.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
going to fly together, right? They're going to
Rage
fly
Against the
together.
Machine has
Like,
another song.
Was she going to be
Just
able to
take off.
fly now, though? It
I
seems like
imagine.
she looks like she has like powers that are way more exceeded than the first one.
So and like, those fight scenes, the two with him bullet timing, give me
man.
lots of and missile timing.
yeah. And what you were bringing up about Blue Hair Girl, that's Jessica Henwick from Iron Fist, Game of Thrones.
Oh,
And I know she's almost unrecognizable. Because
Yeah.
when she was in the teaser trailer, I was like, who is that? I'm like, oh, it's Jessica Henwick playing a character named, I think, rumored to be playing a character named Bugs, who is serving as a, the Trinity, essentially, from the first Matrix movie. At least that's what it looks apparently like. Yeah.
Do you guys feel like it's very intentional? The Smith, the agents aren't back that we're used to, because I do feel like this is later on in the programming, so them being destroyed is actually going to hold true. What do you guys think about the agents?
I mean, we saw one agent that made it clear here. What I'm more focused on in terms of agents is
That one shot.
I mean, but there was that one shot, but also
The Yahya agent
you got Neil Patrick Harris and Jonathan Groff from Mindhunter and Frozen. So you got Jonathan
Frozen's the Matrix Resurrection.
Always Jonathan Groff.
So you have Jonathan Groff here, and I feel like Neil Patrick Harris is probably all right, maybe a program, but. I think Jonathan Groff is probably the bad guy.
I feel like he's definitely got that aura about him.
He's got a bit of an agent vibe about him.
But like a more subtle one. Like he's not just out there Mr. Andersoning.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think he's got program. Neil Patrick Harris is a program. I think there's going to be a mislead with Yahya where he is good, inherently good, but he's doing things because he's been reprogrammed, maybe at a younger age, and that'll come into play.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's some elements with Cypher. I don't know if they're going to incorporate what it's like to get inducted back into the Matrix. Like I think there's going to be a lot about that steak scene. I think the experience of chewing steak again, the experience of living again. I also think we're living in a time where this was made in it was probably made in 2018, 2019, or written then to be released now.
Sure.
We're going to be commenting on what it's like to experience things again. That's going to feel very topical and timely, where he's been outside of the Matrix in the cold eating Wheaties. So he's going to be experiencing life anew, but feeling like it's not correct.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot of elements of what it's like to be reprogrammed as a people, which we kind of are going to need to be after this year.
This is obviously the most serious I've ever taken any trailer in my life.
One, too, is like that action, man. Like Lana Wachowski directed all of this, and including no second unit. Like that's all.
Yeah.
Lana there, so like it's super impressive looking too.
Well, this is going to be different because there's no Lily Wachowski this time around, and on top of that too, Lana Wachowski writing with two other writers as well, which is very different than the first 3 Matrix films. So this has a different vibe to it and a different aesthetic and a whole lot of symbolism throughout. I guess one thing too that I'm just relieved about is I thought maybe it would be Neo would just be like a supporting character when they redid this. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad to see he's the main character again. Yeah, you know?
He just shows up. He's like, "I'll teach you how to fly."
I was like, how much of a reboot was this going to be? So I guess the big question we're putting all these theories together, but a big question I can't figure out is why they've rebooted the Matrix. I mean, obviously, as we learned from Matrix Reloaded, the Matrix gets rebooted all the time. So this is the 7th version of the Matrix that we're watching here, so they has to be rebooted. What's going to make this entirely different? But I'm liking like the self-discovery of how like there's these action scenes where it doesn't look like he's fully honed in on his powers of the one, but he's like they're slowly coming back to him. Yeah,
I think there's going to be a fair amount of like that pivot shot where it goes from horizontal up to vertical, and then we track and push through.
Yeah,
I feel like there's going to be a lot of scenes where we're actually going between realities.
Yes.
Like as we reboot and re-enter whichever reality and world we're in, I think it's going to be a really big element to the film. And I'm curious if we get any scenes that are of the old aesthetic.
Yeah,
are we going to have that old green sheen that the first film has, where it immerses us in the version 1 or 4 of the Matrix. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, there are like things with the production design, like sometimes with the rain effects, which rain has been very symbolic with having like the Matrix code in there. Yeah. One shot, I think he was looking at Trinity, where it seemed like he could see the code dripping down.
Yeah, and the eyes in that one guy, that I think it was an agent, and that flashes in the opening. He had the code in his eyes.
I imagine that as he becomes more accepting of the world that he is inhabiting, Neo, I would imagine that the cinematography color palette, like we were talking about, would change. How while he's in Blue Pill world, he is
that's the saturation that John's talking about.
Yes, and then when as he's going down the Red Pill route, you know, then eventually, because right now like it doesn't have that green aesthetic that I'm used to.
And that's an interesting commentary in general. The saturation being the flavor metaphor I was talking about, the steak, and then the desaturation of the cold world of Zion. The question is it better? Is ignorance bliss? Are we going back to like, do we want to be part of something that isn't technically real in order to appreciate?
I just want to do a live
Let's do a live stream. Let's do a live stream. Because is it worth living if it's cold and dark and you're just eating that awful sludge? Is it worth it?
I could talk about this forever.
We should.
Obviously, you're not gonna be able to shut Coin Eye up unless I just end the video, guys.
I just paused for you, Greg. I paused for you, John.
Subscribe.
I mean, if you guys keep going, you'll get any thought I would have had.
I wouldn't have noticed the blue as much. I wouldn't have noticed. I disagree.
Sorry,
I disagree.
Subscribe. We're very huge Matrix fans.
Dude, since 99, I've thought of nothing else but this movie, and now it's here.
All right, guys, make sure to subscribe, click that bell, hit that like button, and please follow Coy on his YouTube channel. He's obviously earned a subscribe button from you guys. And hey, we'll catch you guys soon.